Hi there, this is Anna Newborg, your Wilkinsburg Library Director, and today I am going to give you a brief walkthrough on how to fill out the census. So the first thing we're going to do is go to 2020 census.gov. That's the website you need to go to fill out the census. That will take you to this page. Whenever you're ready to fill out the census, you click the Respond Now button. If you scroll down, it's going to give you a little bit more information on how to respond. Also, why your response matters, and your response really does matter because your census response helps to determine how much federal funding is released to your community over the next 10 years. So it really is very important that you respond to the census. So let's begin. Okay, so we're going to start questionnaire. Now it's asking you for your 12-digit census ID. That is something you should have got in your mail, a letter from the Census Bureau with a 12-digit ID. But if you didn't get that in the mail, or you lost it, or whatever, you can still fill out the census by clicking If you do not have a census ID, click here. All right, so now it's going to ask where you were living on the 1st of April, whether you were in the United States or Puerto Rico or somewhere else. In this case, we were in the United States. Address number, I'm just going to put in just a pretend one, just to give you an example of what you'll be doing. Street name. If you have an apartment number, put that in. City, we're going to put in Pittsburgh. State, Pennsylvania. I'm going to use Wilkinsburg Library zip code 15221. So after you've entered your address, you'll go to the next field. It's going to verify your address. Go next. Now it's going to ask you for your first, middle, and last names. And your telephone number. Next, it's going to take you to household questions. So this is where you're going to answer questions about yourself and anyone who you might be living with in your household, including any children. So we're going to start with that. How many people were living or staying at your address as of April 1st, 2020? So we are going to pretend that we had myself and a child living at this household. So we're going to put 2. What is the name of each person who is staying at the household? So I've already put my name in. We're going to put my child's name in. Okay, and go to the next. Make sure you don't miss anyone. So really anyone who's living in your household, even if your household address is not their official address, anyone who is living there should be counted on your census questionnaire. So it's going to double check, were there any additional people you did not already list? In this case, no. It's going to ask you if you own the home, or if someone else owned the home, if you rented, or if you lived there without payment of rent. In this case, we're going to say we rented. Okay, so next it's going to ask of the people who lived at your address who rented the house, apartment, or mobile home on April 1st, 2020. So whose name is on the lease, essentially. In this case, it's me, so I'm going to click my name. Move on to the next section. Now it's going to bring you on to the next section, which is where you'll answer just a few questions about each person living in the household. It's going to ask your sex, your birth date, verify your age, move on to the next question. It's going to ask if you are of Hispanic, Latino, or Spanish origin, If you are, answer that. If you're not, click no. Then it's going to ask about your race and origins. So you can choose more than one box in this case, whatever applies to you. So in this case, we're going to click white, and we're going to say German and Italian. And click next. Now we're going to answer the same question for the child living in the house. It's going to ask what your relationship is to that person. In this case, they're a biological son or daughter. Sex, male. Birth date. Again, Hispanic, Latino, or Spanish origin. Race. And origins. If you don't know an answer in terms of origins, you can just write unknown. Move to the next section, which will be your final questions. They want to make sure everyone is only counted only once, because some people may live or stay in more than one place. One example would be if someone is attending college. So what they're asking is does someone in your household usually live or stay somewhere else? Do they spend the majority of their time somewhere else? If they do, you would check all that apply. If not, click none of the above. So that means they spend the majority of the time living in your place of residence. Let's move on to the next section. Now, if you think that you're done and you've answered everything, click Submit Questionnaire. If you think you might have missed something or want to add something, click Edit Questionnaire. And that's really all there is to it. So I hope that you'll take a few minutes to fill out the census today, because it really is very important in determining the amount of aid that your community will get from the federal government. As always, if you have any questions for us, email us at wilkinsburghelp@gmail.com.